yeah, deeply psychologically relevant for anybody, which I think is something that we can, I think by leaning into personal experience, it actually then becomes more universal, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that answered the question at all.
Yeah, just to support, I mean, what Ariel was saying, I wrote, and I'll throw to you in a minute, sorry, Liam, and Dijana, I'm sure you have a lot of questions, but I wrote, is it an individual or a dialogue, like an internalized dialogue? I didn't really know how to find the words for that, but I read that into the work, about 3/4 of the way through. So I guess I'm with you on that one. And then
that's great.
yeah, and then the move.
No,
Sorry, you go.
We really nail it on the head at the end, where it's like the heads coming together like multiple times. We're like, maybe it'll happen now.
I think also it's meant to be a question that you're asking, I think, as you're watching the work, and then the answer does eventually come. But I think it intentionally starts with this idea of us being separate entities, and then like it's a process. It's not just like, oh, we were wrong about the beginning. It's like, no, doing this work is what enabled us to see like the connection between everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for a really lovely piece. It really captured a lot of what it feels like when you're working through mental health issues. And yeah, something I was wondering, it was really surprising to hear that you've only really made this in the past month or so, because it doesn't feel like it's a film, and it doesn't feel like it's a performance. It's somewhere in between the two. And I loved how the editing kind of added this kind of musical score to the piece, so that then you'd be able to focus on certain images and you'd be able to shift the perspective. And I was wondering how you found, kind of, I don't know if you've worked in video before, or how you found using that language in addition to dance and text, and if that's something that you want to continue working on, or if this was a kind of a necessary evil to work with.
Well, I did all the editing, so I guess I'll speak to that a little bit, but I did it all in one day, which was it was a long day. But so we had like kind of played with film a little bit before COVID, but nothing serious. And then as soon as COVID happened, we started making films. So we have like 3 films besides this that I would say are like films, and they were made for film. And I think the difference between those and this, and I'm glad you got a sense of it being like kind of a hybrid form, because I think that's how it feels for us.
Can I jump in really quick?
Yeah.
It's on the shoot. So originally we were going to shoot it all in the studio. And then we had our film guy and a helper, one of our dancers.
Okay, you got to give him lighting designer. His title is lighting designer.
Okay,
he did a good job.
But we had them come in and just kind of talk about it. And I was actually driving, and Charly called me. She's like, what if we shot some of it in the house? And she's like, don't freak out or get mad. Because like originally we were thinking of it, like shooting it as almost like a performance. But I said to her specifically, I was like, I don't want this to be a screen dance, and I don't want it to be a performance. I want it to be right in the middle, because if it's a screen dance, we're going to take a million shots from a million different angles and find the best one. But I was like, I want it to capture both, and I'm so glad that it read that way. But
yeah, and I think all I was really going to say beyond that is that the other screen dances that we've made were made for the camera, and this was not made for the camera. This is, we intend to perform this live. We have very specific views about lighting for it, which I think we very rarely allow ourselves to think about because of like lack of funding and theater space. But like for some reason, when we imagined this, we had very clear ideas of the lighting, and those things were not achievable without a theater, and we couldn't get a theater. So the camera element is what allowed us, for example, to have the blackouts. Like the blackouts have always been part of the vision of what we are, of things happening in the dark and things happening that we don't see, and this idea of dimness and how things can grow, how the lighting can sort of also parallel the trajectory of the piece, and like this sort of enlightening process that's hopefully happening. And so it's very much designed for a stage. And I think that for this, we wanted it to, it's not going to read if you just do it like it's on stage and then put it on a camera. Like, we all know that at this point. So finding a happy medium, I think, was a fun challenge in the end. I'm like happy that we did different things and tried different things, and I think it came out better for it.